closer to that big prize with today's game. I'm going to ask you 12 sports-only trivia questions. Start off easy, and they'll get a little bit tougher as they go. And if you get them all right, you'll get a chance to split a prize of 10 million points. Now, Monday's winners each took home 100,000 points. And I can't quite do the math that fast, but I know that's a lot of levels and free passes. So is everyone ready to go? You got an extra life you've earned from referrals or streaks, or maybe an eraser you earned from playing with your friends. It's the only equipment you'll need for this game. Well, and your sports knowledge and maybe your thumbs, or you can use your fingers too. Either way. All right, we're ready to go. HQ Sports, to all of the players in here, we've got over 131,000 people joining me on this Wednesday night. Thank you so much. Round one starts right now. All right, when a hockey player hits a shot without attempting to control the pass first, it's called a what? A German suplex, a one-timer, or a sticky wicket? Doesn't try to control the pass first, just tries to hit the shot. Well, essentially, this is hockey's version of the alley-oop. When a player strikes the puck as it is still moving without controlling it first, it's called a one-timer. One-timer is our answer here. 91,450 of you guys are hockey fans and got this one time right as we move on to round two. The Pro Bowl is the name of the All-Star game in what league? The PBA, the NHL, or the NFL? All right, this is just essentially seeing if you guys are paying attention. The Pro Bowl was only a few days ago. And I think you guys watched it, right? No, I don't know. We'll see. The PBA is a Professional Bowlers Association, but they don't really have an all-star game. They do have a lot of all-stars, though. The Pro Bowl, though, is the NFL's gathering of all of the best players who aren't in the Super Bowl, like Eric Ebron right here, who just scored this touchdown for the AFC. AFC did win that game, by the way. The NFL is our answer right now. How many of you guys got this one right? Quite a few of you guys tuned into the Pro Bowl, watched the NFL win. 102,933 of you guys are moving on to round three. I see you guys using those extra lives out there. All right, round three, let's go. What school has won the second greatest number of women's NCAA basketball titles? Is it Notre Dame, Tennessee, or Baylor? I know when you think of women's NCAA basketball dominance, we all think of UConn, obviously. And Notre Dame, they won the last title, but Pat Summitt made the Lady Vols the first real dominant force in women's college basketball. Tennessee's 8 titles put them just behind UConn's 11. No other school has more than 2. Tennessee is our answer, as 55,237 of you volunteer to move on to round 4. See what I did there? I don't know. I thought that was pretty good. All right, round 4. What unit of time is the same in college basketball and in the NBA? Quarter length, shot clock, or overtime? A lot of differences between the game when you go from the college level to the pro level. First of all, the NBA is 4 12-minute quarters. Men's NCAA is 2 20-minute halves. And women's NCAA is 4 10-minute quarters. So they're all over the place there. And the shot clock is 24 seconds in the NBA, 30 seconds in college. But in both college and the NBA, an overtime period is 5 minutes. So overtime is our answer. 41,958 of you are on to OT. Well, we're still in regulation here in this game as we move on to round 5, but congratulations to you all. What team will receive the first draft pick in the 2019 NFL Draft? The Raiders, the Cardinals, or the Buccaneers? We're only a couple days away from celebrating the 2 teams that have done the best this season as they play in the Super Bowl with the Patriots and the Rams, but the first pick in the NFL Draft usually goes to the team that did the worst, and each of these 3 teams was bad this year. The Raiders and the Bucs were 2 of the 3 to have 0 Pro Bowl representatives, but the Cardinals were the best at being bad, with a 3-win regular season, landing them the top pick. Cardinals is our answer. 43,209 of you knew that they were going to be picking number 1 on the clock when the draft goes to Nashville in April. As we move on to round 6, who has the most saves among players not inducted to the Baseball Hall of Fame? Francisco Rodriguez, Jonathan Papelbon, or Billy Wagner? First of all, shout out to Mariano Rivera. He was just the first unanimously voted in player to go into the Baseball Hall of Fame. That's huge. First time that's ever happened in MLB history. But to this question, by a lot of advanced stats, Billy Wagner, he should be a shoo-in Hall of Famer. He's still waiting, though. But in terms of total saves, no reliever outside of the Hall beats K-Rod, who is 4th behind Mariano, Hoffman, and Lee Smith. So K-Rod, of course, the nickname for Francisco Rodriguez, 21,534 of you got this answer right. Francisco Rodriguez is the choice. K-Rod strikes again as we move on to round 7. What current hockey team used to be called the Whalers? Colorado Avalanche, the Nashville Predators, or the Carolina Hurricanes? I mean, this team had one of the great logos in hockey history. One of the great logos in hockey history at all came from Hartford, Connecticut, where the Whalers played from 1972 until 1997. That is until they were moved to the hockey hotbed of North Carolina, where they became the Hurricanes. Carolina Hurricanes is our answer, and 16,177 of you guys are hockey fans and knew this one. It's a tough one. All right, we're moving on to round 8 as the pot whittles down. All right, since 2015, what Major League Baseball stadium has seen the greatest number of home runs? Is it Coors Field, Yankee Stadium, or Globe Life Park? Greatest number of home runs, or as I like to call them, dingers. That was the name of my brother's AAU baseball team when he was younger, and it's a pretty good one. All right, well, Coors Field may have the advantage of the thin air, but what they don't have a lot of is good hitters. The Yankees, though, they got a lot of good hitters, and they set the Major League Baseball record for home runs by a team last year alone. They had a whole lot of those at home. Since 2015, Yankee Stadium has seen quite a few dingers. Yankee Stadium is our answer here. 7,711. We lost more than half of you guys on this one as we move on to round 9. What running back once ran for a negative yardage total in a playoff loss? Was it Adrian Peterson, Emmitt Smith, or Barry Sanders? All of these guys are legendary running backs, but we all have our off days, you know? Barry Sanders, he's the king of the highlight reel, but his lowlight reel was record-setting. The Lions set a record for the worst postseason rushing performance by a team with -4 rushing yards against the Packers in 1994. Barry had -1 on 13 carries. I mean, it's tough playing a wild card game at Lambeau Field. Barry Sanders is our answer here. 4,194 of you knew that, hey, even the great Barry Sanders has his off days. Moving on to round 10. Which country is not included in the rugby union tournament known as the Tri-Nations Cup? South Africa, Australia, or England? The Tri-Nations Cup rugby is essentially football with less pads and more running and more violence. Maybe not violence, but it's a tough sport. And beyond the World Cup, 2 of the biggest rugby competitions are the Six Nations and the Tri-Nations. Now, the Tri-Nations is in the Southern Hemisphere only, so that means Australia, South Africa, and New Zealand. England is in the Six Nations, so that's the Northern Hemisphere. England would be our answer here. As we look at these rugby stats, 1,988 of you guys are rugby fans. We are whittling down as we move on to round 11. At its minimum, which of these covers the greatest horizontal distance? Is it an NBA corner three-pointer, a soccer penalty kick, or an NFL first down? Which of these is the furthest? All right, well, a three-pointer is a little over 20 feet from the corner. A football first down is 10 yards. A soccer penalty kick is 11 meters from the goal. And I know this is confusing, so we'll do the math for you. The PK is the longest by about 6 feet. Soccer penalty kick is our answer here. 1,073 of you guys got this one right. NBA corner 3, though, those are still tough to drain. All right, 1,073 of you guys are moving on to round 12 as we get ready for our final question, our grand finale. This is for all the marbles. A lot of points on the board. Still to be claimed by 1,073 of you guys players flexing your sports knowledge. Let's move on to round 12 right now. Who is the NBA's all-time leading scorer among players who never made a regulation three-pointer? Was it Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, or Shaquille O'Neal? I mean, hey, big men in today's NBA are well-versed in hitting shots behind the arc, but it was not always the case. Kareem, though, he hit a single 3 in his career. Same goes for Shaq. But the NBA added the three-point shot in 1979, and Wilt still played his last game in 1973. So even though he put up 100 in a game once, he technically never hit an NBA three-pointer. Wilt Chamberlain is our answer. 837 of you guys are winners in today's game. shout out to all of the winners right here. We've got Christian Fell, Packer Patty, Mel 13100. All of you guys taking home a